Tonight on SportsDesk, Take Down the Wolfpack. Our In the Trenches crew breaks down how the Canes can beat NC State tomorrow.
Plus, First Serve. Mia Hausman tells us about one organization handing down the racket to first-time players.
Finally, supporting the troops. Shay McDonald shows us how one man honored our bravest for Veterans Day.
All this and more.
SportsDesk starts right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Reese Davidson. You're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
I'm Jalen Phillips, and you're watching SportsDesk.
I am Michael the Playmaker Urban. You are watching SportsDesk.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to SportsDesk. I'm Mia Hausman.
And I'm Manny Nacarado. Thank you for joining us. And Mia, Miami's got a big game this weekend against NC State.
Well, I really hope they can use the momentum from last weekend to push them through. What do you think?
Absolutely. And speaking of last week, the Miami Hurricanes took on the Syracuse Orange in a grudge match on Saturday. There's some bad blood between these two teams after last year's game. Let's take it to Hard Rock Stadium to take a look at those highlights. All right, so we got Syracuse and Miami in the second quarter at the 19-yard line. Here's an end around to Malachi Toney. Gets it back to Carson Beck with the entire offensive line ahead of him. He's going to walk into the end zone. Malachi Toney records a passing TD. Now here's Ricky Collins feeling the pressure and throws a pick. That's Keontae Scott, and he's going to take it all the way back to the 10 and touchdown Miami, taking the momentum late in the second quarter. 14-3 here to start the third. Carson Beck delivers a dime. That's Keelan Morris, and he's going to run all the way to the end zone. That's a touchdown for the Canes again. The Canes are starting to take real control of the game here, and here's Carson Beck taking the snap late in the third quarter. That's a handoff to Gerard Pringle, and he's going to walk into the end zone, and that's going to do it for the Miami Hurricanes. They're going to dominate Syracuse here with a final score of 38-10. They'll face off against NC State on Saturday.
As the college football regular season comes to a close, our In the Trenches crew breaks down this week's matchup against NC State and how the Canes can get the win in a crucial ACC game. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Mia. Welcome back to In the Trenches. I'm your host, Penelope Gilbert, joined by analyst Luca Mucciardi. The Canes are sitting at 7-2 after last week's win over Syracuse, and they desperately need to win out the rest of the season to have any shot at the playoffs, and that's going to start tomorrow with NC State at home. But, Luca, the Canes are suffering with some injuries.
Yeah, the big one, Penelope, is going to be Mark Fletcher, who's going to be out for his second consecutive game after taking a knock late on against SMU. But it gives a chance for some of these other running backs to really get themselves going. I spoke to CeCe Mawinoa earlier this week, and this is what he had to say about that.
I mean, they're all good. They're all ready to go, especially with our running back coach. I think he's done a great job emphasizing run over somebody. That has been the main thing that I've been hearing in practice. And, you know, that's a tone setter right there.
And that whole mentality of running over somebody, we saw that last week. Take a look at some of these highlights. Marty Brown with a lot of touches in the backfield. Jordan Lyle got himself active. And then you got to mention Gerard Pringle, the freshman who gets a score, his second touchdown of the season and 50-plus yards rushing. You see it there, Marty Brown just bursting through the hole. Good stuff for the Canes on the ground game.
And we've talked a lot about how this defense has really shown up this season, forcing a lot of turnovers against these teams. So look at how they do against Syracuse.
Yeah, well, let's take a look. First off, I want to mention Keontae Scott, a 90.5 PFF grade. That is the best out of all corners in the NCAA. He had an interception to boot, but then he gets injured late on. He's going to be unavailable tomorrow against NC State. But how about Jacoby Thomas, the transfer coming over from Tennessee? A pick, a forced fumble, and a sack on the day against Syracuse. Expecting big things from him. He might fill Scott's shoes tomorrow. We'll see.
Like I mentioned, the Canes absolutely cannot afford to drop this home game against NC State. So, Luca, what did they have to do to come out on top?
Yeah, well, let's take a look at Luca's looks for this week for beating NC State. First off, it's going to be limiting the explosiveness. NC State 21st in explosive play rate this season in the NCAA. Going to have to watch out for that. Next up, it's going to be navigating the injuries. I mentioned some of those injuries. Scott and Fletcher out. You're also going to be missing O.J. Frederick, but you get C.J. Daniels back. That helps. And then finally, it's going to be pound the rock, get that run game going this weekend at Hard Rock.
Well, that's all the time we have. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. And with playoffs inching closer, our football beat reporter Ashley Friedland gives us an update on how the Canes can make a late playoff push in their final 3 ACC games. Ashley?
Mia, Miami just jumped to number 15 in the most recent college football playoff rankings, so there is still a path for them to make postseason play. Winning out gets this team to 10-2 and in the conversation for an at-large bid, especially with the ranked win against Notre Dame early this season. If we see some ACC teams stumble like Georgia Tech, Virginia, SMU, and Louisville, which tends to happen late in the year, Miami could be right in the mix for an extended season.
Miami plays its last regular season home game tomorrow, making this the seniors' last time potentially playing in the green and orange in their own territory. Ashley, walk us through senior day.
Some of the Canes fans' favorite players are running through the smoke for their very last time tomorrow, making it quite an emotional day. Offensive lineman of Nez Cooper expressed his emotions earlier this week.
I feel like it's very special because when I was in high school and I ain't have no offers of nobody to commit to, I'm just happy that Mario just brought me in and he just believed. It came fast, it got over fast. Man, I was just a freshman and I look up. Now I'm playing my last game at Hard Rock. I mean, it's emotional. I'm gonna be emotional when I walk out there. My last time gonna be running through that tunnel, trying to take it all in and just get ready to get these wins with my boys.
Canes fans are going to miss Coop and the rest of the guys walking tomorrow, but for them, they'll never forget the lessons they learned on Green Tree, and Miami fans will continue to cheer them on wherever they go. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Ashley Friedland. Back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. Coming up, we got the latest on Canes volleyball chopping through their competition.
And also some brand new faces in Olympic sports that'll soon be repping the U.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
From the court to the golf course, there's a lot going on in Canes athletics. Our O Sports Roundup crew is live in studio to catch us up. Guys?
What's up, Hurricanes? Welcome back to another edition of the O Sports Roundup. I'm Liam Hickey.
And I'm Sarah Landau. Last week, Hurricanes volleyball tamed the Seminoles in a 3-2 thriller down in Tallahassee. This marks their 6th straight win, and this is no coincidence. I want to focus on one player in specific, and that's Flor Marie Heredia Colon. The senior outside hitter was just named AVCA National Player of the Week, but this is no surprise considering her stats. She's currently leading the nation in points per set, kills, and kills per set. With all these feats, it'll definitely be interesting to see how she tops them in tonight's matchup with Notre Dame. Liam, how are things going on the golf course?
The good news just keeps rolling in for women's golf. On Wednesday, head coach Janice Olivencia announced the signing of 3 standout athletes to anchor the 2026 recruiting class. Headlining the group is none other than Kai Trump, the granddaughter of President Donald Trump, who has already logged experience on the pro level, making her debut on the LPGA Tour on Friday. Rounding out the trio is Bella Dovey and Carly Rogers, 2 of the top-ranked players in the state of Florida and Tennessee. But the recruiting doesn't stop there. Sarah, how's Miami's 2026 class coming along for track and field?
Keeping up with the signing day news, Hurricanes track and field just added 30 new members to their roster. Among them is Hannah Schwind, who comes all the way from Germany, Andreas Trum, who's coming from Estonia, and Miami native Ariana Garcia. Liam, how are things going with tennis?
Well, down in Athens, Georgia, senior Antonio Pratt qualified for the NCAA Singles Championships last Sunday. Pratt's comeback win over Auburn's Billy Blades secured his spot in the tournament for the first time in his career. The NCAA Individual Championships kick off in Orlando, Florida on Tuesday.
That's all for the O Sports Roundup. Back to you, Mia.
Thanks, guys. Tennis is booming in Miami, with the Miami Open in the spring and the Division I dominance at UM. However, tennis is still not accessible to a lot of communities. I got to see how one organization is working to change that. Take a look.
At First Serve Miami, tennis is just the beginning. The nonprofit combines sport, mentorship, and life skills to help kids succeed beyond the court.
You have to learn to win and lose. You have to learn how to change up in a minute. And it's just not on court, it's off court too. It's having the student be well-rounded.
For many players, those lessons extend into their goals for the future.
Some wanted to be a pro. Some want to use it to go to college. You have some that say they want to be an attorney.
One of those rising stars is Saleh, a young player who's already aiming high.
I hope to be a professional tennis player when I'm older and win a scholarship for college.
For her, the program is more than a practice ground. It's a community that hasn't wavered since Cynthia Diaz played in the program.
One of the best things I learned from the program, is the people that I've met throughout tennis and the whole experience, the whole 360 experience I had with First Serve. Because even to this day, we still stay in touch and we check in with one another, and that's just a beautiful thing to have in life, network.
One of the most important people to Diaz is none other than Angie Rivera, and Diaz still attributes much of her success to her moments with Rivera.
She helped me out a lot with signing up for tournaments on the weekends, which also implemented a lot of how I got my scholarship, right, and the ranking I'd had in USDA at the time.
It's these connections that fortify the First Serve Miami family and keep their players coming back to the court.
I feel like without the program, you wouldn't be able to have these opportunities, so I'm really grateful. And it feels good to have all of my friends here playing tennis with me.
From building confidence to building futures, First Serve Miami is proving that every match is a lesson in life.
If you'd like to learn more about how First Serve Miami is creating game winners in the community, visit their website at firstservemiami.org.
Hurricanes volleyball has risen to number 14 in the AVCA rankings, and it's all led by stellar offense. Danny Vega talks to one of the offensive powerhouses on this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. Danny?
What's up, Canes fans, and welcome back to Athlete of the Week. I'm your host, Danny Vega, and joining me today is Amina Njai, outside hitter for Canes volleyball. Amina, thank you for joining me today.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here.
So let's get straight into it. In high school, you had 1,000 kills, setting an all-time record. How has it been adjusting to the speed and level of college volleyball?
When I first got here over the summer, it was definitely a hard adjustment just because I've never played at this pace before, but all my teammates have been super supportive, and working with all of our setters, we just found a connection, and I think it's been pretty good since the season started.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys have had some pretty tough matchups during the season. Which game do you think was the hardest and why?
I would say that Pitt was our hardest matchup at first. It was just a really different type of volleyball than we've seen, just the way that they played, but I feel like that the game we adapted well and we were able to win, which was a really great win for us, and I just feel like it really brought the team a lot closer.
Yeah, and athletics do run in your family. Your dad played basketball, your sister played volleyball, and so does your brother. He also plays basketball. How did that have an influence on you growing up?
Growing up, honestly, surprisingly, my dad didn't really try to push us into basketball or anything in particular. I tried a bunch of sports before I found volleyball, and my older sister obviously played volleyball, so that's what got me into it, and then I just loved it and went from there.
All right, so I wanted to play a quick game with you. It's called Quick Serve. I'm going to say something, and you got to tell me the first thing on your mind. Ready?
Okay.
Pre-game hype song. As fast as you can.
Wait, I don't have one.
Okay. Post-game meal.
Pizza.
All right, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Amina. That is it for Athlete of the Week. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Danny. Coming up next on Sports Desk, Johnny Muschin talks the newest fad in college football as he takes us behind the post. But first, it's time for some trivia. The men's basketball team looks to face the 10th-ranked Florida Gators on Sunday. But when was the last time Miami played the Gators on the court? Was it A, 2007, B, 2010, C, 2019, or D, 2014? Find out when we come back.
All right, guys. I gotta know, what's your favorite holiday?
It's got to be Christmas for me. The full spirit, the nostalgia.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree. The whole aura of Christmas, the lights, the smells, the scents, the cooking. I think it's Christmas for me.
What do you think? If you guessed C, you're correct. The last time the Canes played the Gators was in 2019. Florida beat Miami with a final score of 78-58, and the Canes look to right that wrong this Sunday. Speaking of hoops, our Hurricane Hangtime crew is live in studio to tell us how both teams are starting. Guys?
We are back here on Hurricane Hangtime. I'm your host, MK Eason, and I'm here with our analysts, Tucker Kinney and Aiden Scanlon. After this week of play, both teams are still undefeated. The men defeated Stetson on Monday, and the women defeated FAU last night. Tucker, after the Canes, they fell first to Stetson at the beginning of the game. How did they bounce back?
Well, MK, the Canes blew out Stetson by 41 points in their second subsequent 100-point game for the first time in program history since 1989. But you're right, for a while, for about 11 minutes, they were trailing, but they got back due to their interior play, outscoring the Hatters by over 30 points in the paint. And I want to highlight one man in particular, Malik Renew, with his third straight 20-point game. He was dominant with a double-double as well. If he can carry that momentum into the game on Sunday, it'll mean good things for the Canes, as they'll take on number 10 UF, who's coming off of a win against FSU 78-76. They're a physical team. They love to rebound, and they got one man in particular who's a threat to the Canes. His name is Thomas Hawk. He's a forward who will probably match up with Renew, and he's averaging 19.3 points per game right now. He had a double-double himself against the Seminoles, but if they can keep him quiet and bring in that physicality that we've seen these past 3 games, they'll have a chance to make a real upset, which would be huge going forward for this season and huge for Jay Lucas' resume as a head coach.
Thanks, Tucker. Aiden, the women's team had a dominant win here at Watsco against FAU last night. What were their X factors and who were their standout players?
Yeah, MK, you talk about that dominating 32-point victory over FAU. And matter of fact, they never trailed against FAU, so they moved that record up to 21-0, never have lost to their interstate rivals, so that is something they can hang over. But post-game, Trisha Cullip really wanted to focus on Amarachi Kimpson, who was really the X factor for the Canes. And after a slow start for the first 2 games, she really came up strong with 14 points and 2 steals, and that's going to be something that Miami looks to build on going forward with that depth and those quality minutes on the floor, especially with an opponent like Iowa in the next week in the WBCA Classic, who is 3rd in field goal percentage and 6th in all points. But that will all have to wait for next week in Orlando.
Thanks, Aiden. That's all we have time for here on Hurricane Hang Time. Catch us here next week for some more Hoop Hustle and our final show of the semester. And stay tuned for a special guest from the men's basketball team. Now your host with the most, Johnny Mustian, takes us behind the post.
Okay. It seems like Tarps Off is the newest craze across college football. So if they could do it, I'm pretty sure that I should do it too. Well, I guess we're not allowed to have fun on the show at all. So, welcome to an underwhelming episode of Behind the Post. I'm Johnny Mushin, and I'm your host. And yes, even though that I can't join in on the trend, the Canes fans have been igniting the stands of Hard Rock Stadium. And with the Hurricanes putting on a masterclass against the Orange, you could definitely expect the Hard Rock to be deafening this weekend.
The people that you love in the stadium filled with people who came to watch you. Just have fun. Lay it all on the line, one play at a time. No matter what. One play at a time. Let's go do what we do. Good? Eat on three, eat on me. 1, 2, 3, eat.
And finally, I gotta shout out my favorite account on Instagram, Sebastian the Ibis. Every single photo is insane, beautifully crafted, and it's even his birthday today. And luckily for him, he gets to hang out with a very special lady for his very special day. Well, maybe I should stop because it's getting a little too hot in here. But just remember, you only have one more chance to hang out with me to go through the beauty of Canes social media. I'm Johnny Mushin, and I just took all of you behind the post. Back to you.
Bringing visions to life for the biggest names in sports, one UMiami student is changing the game behind the camera. Dylan Grodner is live in studio with more.
For many college students, they start their own companies after earning their degree. But for Ty Marion, he started before he even graduated high school.
My name is Ty Marion. I'm a senior at the University of Miami, and I started Trademark Sports and Entertainment 6 years ago. At first, it was a hobby, just working with college athletes. I thought, was something that was cool and interesting to me. Fast forward 6 years later, it's turned into a full-service media company where we're working with some of the top athletes and businesses really across the globe. Growing up in New Jersey, sports has always been a big part of my life, and for me, football was the sport that really hit home to me. I played quarterback really from the age of 5 all the way up to the end of my high school days, where I always had dreams and aspirations of playing on the big stage, playing at the NFL at the University of Miami. Just never really had the size, so it was by default I had to find creative ways that I wanted to be involved in sports and find ways to work with these athletes. I just didn't know early on what sort of side that would be on. It was in 2019 when I decided to reach out to 100, 200, 300 athletes, via Instagram DM off my personal Instagram, and there's one guy that got back to me. His name's DJ Dallas, and to this day, he's one of my best friends. I went to his wedding. He'll be at my wedding. He's someone I really look up to, and he's currently, on his 6th year in the NFL, with the Carolina Panthers. And it was really that process of me, playing quarterback position, always being an underdog in a way that I knew I wanted to build something bigger than myself, and that's really where Trademark came about. A big turning point for us came in the summer of 2023 when we were doing work with Saquon Barkley in the midst of the offseason. There was a lot of media coverage on him, whether the Giants were going to tag him, if he was going to get traded at that point. And we were with him golfing. At one point he was talking about a potential brand deal that he would get to post on his Instagram. And for us, I thought, why does a guy like Saquon Barkley not have a YouTube channel? Why is he not on TikTok or a podcast where he could really build up those platforms and monetize that? And that was the summer of 2023, and we've really spent the last 2 years doing research and finding ways that we could really develop certain content and strategies. That way we could go out and work with guys like Jaden Reed, Rasheed Rice, Sauce Gardner, ultimately where we want to be the ones that are the powerhouses and back end of building up their social media channel.
While Trademark started as a sports media company that focused on athletes, it's no longer just that. Trademark is now partners with any company looking to increase their marketability. Still
ahead, UM welcomes a new golfer to the green with a connection to the Commander-in-Chief.
About retirement?
Of course I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
target your tomorrow and use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A is for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep. V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
Veterans Day was this past Tuesday, and our troops have been commemorated all week long. Shay McDonald tells us about how one man honored the troops 1 mile at a time.
Sunday was Go Run Miami's Honor Our Veterans 5K. With Veterans Day just days after, the group brought together members of the Miami community to salute those who have served and protected our country, a service that ties deeply to founder Douglas Nicaragua.
Freedom is not given, it's like it's earned. So, and that's why, it's like I'm so happy that, it's like I was able to serve this country, and I'll put the freaking uniform again anytime.
Runners today, the Go Run Veterans 5K received this medal individually. Now, it seems like it's just a small piece, but when you put it together, comes together as the full scope of America, representing the true importance of this event for celebrating veterans. Regardless of medal or place, though, it's the message in bringing people together that mattered most, even for those who stood at the top.
People in this community are or used to be veterans, so it just feels good to be able to be in an event where I feel like I'm supporting something that's core to their values and important to them.
That community is what Go Run builds itself around. More than a run club, it's a family.
The family aspect here is my biggest motivator. If I did not have this aspect, I wouldn't see myself doing this alone.
That community built around self-improvement and family has been the goal of Go Run from the top down.
It's like one world, bro. We lived in one earth, so that's all it is. It's like it's one big community.
Shay McDonald, UMTV.
Thanks, Shay. There's nothing like a buzzer beater to clinch a game, and on Monday night, the Orlando Magic felt the thrill as the clock hit 0 in the fourth quarter. Let's head to the Kia Center for this week's Play of the Day. All right, so we've got 1.9 seconds left in the game. Desmond Bane is going to face some intense defense, but he's going to chuck up the three anyway and make that buzzer beater three. Look at this turn and shoot. You can't make it any better. That was a buzzer beater for the Magic to win against the Trailblazers, 115 to 112, and that was a 27-foot shot. So obviously, it makes sense that the bench would clear and the Kia Center would erupt. That's your Play of the Day.
Our women's golf team adds a new member to the squad for the upcoming season as Kai Trump signs with the Hurricanes. Kai announced her signing ahead of her LPGA debut at the Annika outside of Tampa, Florida. She is currently ranked number 461 in the Rolex American Junior Golf Association rankings for junior golfers and has already played 3 AJGA events this season with an average score of 84. Kai said at her signing that she loves the coaches, loves the school, and acknowledged that it was close to home. And I mean, it's pretty exciting to get Kai Trump heading over to campus. Mia, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, I mean, she's shooting an average of an 84. I don't think I could even dream of shooting a score like that. I'm easily like 150, if that's even possible.
Yeah, Mia, you're not good off the tee, you think? You don't think you can hit it off the tee?
No, but I bet if I hit the links with Kai Trump, I might get a little bit better. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I have some other things to show if we have time for it, but the huddle this week is going to be about Formula One, and Annika, Carter Lutz, and I hit up the drawing board to make some predictions about who we think is going to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix next week.
Let me see some of these hand turkeys. These are pretty good.
Yeah, we did hand turkeys for Thanksgiving, and I thought that was pretty creative.
I mean, who do you think is going to take the Formula One in Las Vegas? I'm a Verstappen guy. I love Red Bull.
I mean, obviously. I picked Oscar Piastri, but we'll find out next week. Well, that's all for today's show. Thank you for joining us.
Make sure to catch us here next Friday for our final show of the semester. Have a great weekend, everyone.